Sure, sure. So my career spanned roughly three companies over about 30 plus years on the corporate side, and now I'm working in private equity. And so each of those was in fact different industries. So trying to capture my learnings, I think we're talking about times when the business isn't running on full speed and there's new competition or new events in the market have occurred, or frankly, just maybe the economy's down and your customers aren't giving, spending, doing as much as prior. And those are tough times. And I've gone through situations where businesses dropped, significantly, losing large customers that were anticipated or not. I remember a time when we were pivoting at DKSH in 2016, and we actually faced that same dilemma. As we navigated that, I had a great ally in my communications group, and he really challenged me about purpose and what is it that gets you up in the morning. And we turned that into a campaign across the whole organization to really think about what was their purpose individually and as a company. And so we basically did a bottoms up, a lot of working groups to really have people talk about that. And when we heard them talking and we got those stories going, it was amazing about how much energy and focus and opportunities we identified as we went along that path. And it took probably about 12 months or so to kind of reorganize. I wouldn't say reorganize, but reaccelerate because we had this big drop in our earnings. However, with that, we emerged stronger and more ready to go forward. So I think it's the ability to have a growth mindset, be willing to stop some things that you thought were essential. The enemy of the great is the good. And so what is good that we don't need to do, there's always lots of good things. So that's might be a helpful feedback. Yeah, no, I think the idea about a double bottom line is very appealing. And it can be one that we go in with rose-colored glasses in some cases. I think the reality is to be in a profit-generating business, to be in any self-sustaining operation, you need to have customers. You need to be different. You need to be able to grow. Inflation will catch up to you if you don't raise prices. Those are all things that are maybe sometimes at odds with a completely generous and giving organization that isn't 100% focused on, a thriving and sustaining business. So I think some of the times it's really being honest with ourselves in terms of what is our ambition and how far can we go with that double bottom line and being realistic. I had a conversation with a number of other leaders at Lions Den a couple years ago, and one of them said, if you can embed the benefit, the double bottom line, into your actual business cause, it makes it so much easier to reconcile. When you try to give away money and give away shareholders' money on top, that actually is a difficult one to sustain and will be challenged for sure. And so I think as an organization, being honest with ourselves about what is that double bottom line, what is that impact goals that we want to hit, and just making sure that we're not overpromising and that we can continue to build on them. So sometimes it's a question of starting at a right level and not being too ambitious because you really have many challenges that you don't even see yet in the business that will come regardless. It's never a straight line up. It's always a valley and a peak and a valley and a peak. And so you want to sustain those valleys as you move forward, and you can grow your double bottom line impact over time. So making those trade-offs and being right sizing that, not to trust in God for sure. I believe we should trust in God and go above and beyond. Faith is believing in what we don't see, but also being really responsible in a business setting to say, maybe we need to think about this over 5 years. How do we start in year one? How do we grow in year three? And really testing and growing your ambition as a double bottom line company. Yeah, I think as an entrepreneur starting out on your journey, you probably have a big idea and you have a big dream, but there's so many bridges to cross along the way. And so being thoughtful in terms of understanding what are those areas that are your strengths and what are those goals that you have where you might have gaps emerge where you can't cross that bridge. And having that in mind allows someone like Ardent, I believe, to really partner an ideal mentor who's been through those same areas and be able to bridge and build off the strengths that the entrepreneur is bringing with their bold ideas and their big dreams.